So I just wanted to go over some of the few things that I think you should consider when you're making your picks in the ESPN Eliminator Challenge game if your intent is to win some of this prize money. Um, a few of the data sets you're going to need, which I will compile and do myself, but I'll just show you where I get the data from. You're going to want the probabilities in a given week of each team winning, which I estimate just using the money lines from a sportsbook. I like DraftKings. It's pretty easy to access their stuff via API, which makes things a lot faster. Besides this week's lines, you're also going to want to grab each team's regular season win total forecast, which you can get the over/under lines for at a variety of different win marks. But usually the default is all you'll need, because all you're going to need to do, which I will do, is convert this into just a hard number, say, because the over's favorite here, it would be like probably 12.7 or something like that. So what I did is I put all this data into one spreadsheet. The ESPN pick rates, so what rate each person, or I should say, what rate the whole pool is picking each team in this week. So as we can see, the Raiders at 17%, Browns 12.5, and so on. And I also have this week's win odds for each NFL team. And I have the expected wins converted from the 12.5 with over-under format to just a raw number, assuming it was a binomial distribution. And then you can calculate the expected remaining wins, which means wins after this week, by taking the expected win number minus this week's odds minus the amount of wins they have currently. And then you can get the expected remaining win rate by taking these remaining wins divided by how many games they would have left to play. So, how should you pick? Well, what I like to do is just highlight the ones that I've already picked, because I know I can't use them anymore. So I'll just go ahead and go like that. So week 1 I picked the Seahawks, week 2 I picked the Chargers. And there's something we should keep in mind, is that there's 16 weeks left in the season. So we really should try to have like 16 quality teams that we could pick over the next few weeks. And the way I assess quality is how many expected remaining wins they will have at this juncture. So yeah, highlighted the ones I've already picked, can't use them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort by how many remaining wins there are. And we can see that we don't have a lot of teams where there's even 7 expected wins after this week. But those are the really quality teams as measured by the market. So that is 16 teams, and we've got 16 weeks left. So we don't really want to use these teams. We want to try to save them to the extent we can. If there's really nobody else we can pick, we'll have to dip into this a little bit. But the idea is to not have all your quality picks used up early in the season. You want to try to leave as much quality down the road. So what can you pick that's in this quote-unquote value section? Well, the Raiders and the Browns are 2 really good picks this week, which they're also picked by a lot of people. But it's so early in the season. I mean, I don't think we need to get too contrarian here. But these are obviously very quality picks, right? Because they don't have a lot of expected wins for the rest of the season, but you can get a lot of value out of them this week because of their relatively weak opponents. Another quality pick would be the Seahawks. I can't pick them this week because I picked them week 1. But that would be another pick that would actually be pretty good. And if you wanted to dip into the upper tier teams, I would say the Buccaneers are probably the last team I would use. I think you're giving up more value than you need to, and you're not really being more contrarian. I think the overall best pick this week, it's pretty undeniably just the Browns, with second place maybe being the Raiders, followed by the Seahawks. But the Buccaneers is a quality choice too. You're throwing away, I think, a little bit of expected value that you don't need to this early in the season. So Anyway, that's a general idea of how I think people should try to pick in this game, generally speaking, without having to get into some complex mathematics or anything like that. What you're really trying to do is you're just trying to pick value each week, right? So as the season comes to a close, let's say it's like week 13 or something like that, you would really try to only have just a few teams left that you're hesitant to pick, right? I mean, this blue section will shrink each week, and you'll be able to dip more into the quality teams as the week goes on. But every week, basically, there's going to be some value team that isn't expected to do well, but just has a really favorable matchup that week at home against a crappy opponent, and those will probably be the type of picks to make for the majority of the season. So anyway, I just wanted to make a quick video on how to play this game and try to maximize your chance at winning, because it can be kind of complicated, but when you just break it down like this, it's not that intense. So have a good week picking. I just want to say one last time, I would say Raiders, Browns, Seahawks, and Buccaneers are probably the picks to make this week.